coaches poll has been released. Let's break it down right here with the voice of college football. Hey again, everyone. Don't forget to like the video, share the videos out on social media, and please subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football. Let's dive into the Coaches Poll Top 25 preseason, and let's consider this first and foremost. We don't know the approach of each of these voters. I think there are two basic approaches that are reasonable. One would be that particular voter is not looking at a schedule. I released a top 25, way too early top 25 after the national championship game of 2020. And I made it very clear I was not looking at schedules. Those were simply my selections for the 25 best teams in the country. First best, second best, third best, 25th best. There are other people that approach it as a prediction, basically saying I'm looking at the schedule. I'm projecting that these will be 1 through 25 in the order of finish according to their talent, but also according to the schedule. So we don't know which has been applied by whom. We do know that Alabama is a prohibitive favorite. 63 of 65 first-place votes. Do I think that's unreasonable? Not necessarily. If one vote for Alabama can be justified at number one, then why would 63 other people not vote for Alabama number one? Oklahoma received the other two first-place votes, but Clemson is number two preseason in the coaches poll, meaning that Oklahoma was downgraded by some others to offset the two first-place votes. We knew the five teams that were going to be placed in the top five. How they would be placed, we could only conjecture. So there could be some argument to a certain extent, but again, the Georgia slotting at 5 could be more about schedule. They play Clemson out of the gate. And, of course, Clemson given a ton of respect at number 2 in the nation. So anybody who's taking that approach, that they're looking at the schedule and saying, I'm projecting the final top 25, then, of course, we've got a Clemson-Georgia game right out of the gate that is going to knock one of them down a peg, especially if they lose by more than one score. Okay, so you got Clemson-Georgia 2-5 game right out of the gate. And again, Georgia, if they reach their expectations during the regular season, will most likely face Alabama or an SEC Western Division winner in the SEC championship game, or they will be nowhere close to number 5 in the country otherwise. Oklahoma, Ohio State at 3 and 4 as expected. Again, those top 5, I haven't seen the total votes or points given to the votes, but I would expect a bit of a separation from the top 5 to the rest of the nation. All right, Texas A&M at 6, Notre Dame at 7. Many believe Notre Dame ranked too high. It does hit me as being too high initially, but when I consider who I would rank ahead of them, and I will release my top 25, there aren't too many teams. So Notre Dame losing a lot, Ian Book, of course, and defensive stars. We could go through the personnel. I won't do it right now. We do it on a daily basis, but Notre Dame at number 7. Iowa State, of course, finished 9th in the country in the AP poll and in the coaches poll last season. It was his highest ranking ever, so Iowa State looking to make history. North Carolina at 9. Of course, the Tar Heels haven't risen to those kind of heights in a long, long time. Actually, the last time Mack Brown was the head coach was the last time North Carolina finished in the top 10. Cincinnati at number 10. Reps the group of 5, and of course the Bearcats have shown themselves more than worthy the last few seasons of some serious consideration. The first wild card entry, I believe, would be Florida to a certain extent at number 11. Of course, the Gators were that good despite the 4 losses last season, but the offense is gone. The defense was not good last year. Will the defense be better? The defense would have to be better. The defense was deplorable. Todd Grantham is saying good things, as well as Dan Mullen, about the Florida defense. But that is training camp rhetoric. Can we expect the Florida defense to be better? Again, they have to be better, but to make up for an offensive loss that they had with Pitts and Toney and Trask, it's going to be difficult considering, again, if you're weighing in the schedule, Florida's got to deal with Georgia and LSU and Alabama, of course. All right, Oregon makes the first stop for the Pac-12. The Pac-12 only received, I believe, 3 teams. That would be Oregon and USC at number 14. And then also from the Pac-12, we've got Washington at 21. 3 from the ACC, 3 from the Pac-12. The SEC led the way with 6 in the Big Ten at 5. And considering Ohio State at 4, the rest of the Big Ten bunched in there between 15 and 20 with Wisconsin, Indiana, Iowa, Penn State. I'm pretty comfortable with that. Not that I'm not going to have a different order, because I definitely see teams right there in the Big Ten that I will place differently than those 5, but I don't think it's unreasonable. But I do think Florida's elevated considerably. LSU's a huge wild card in this. Their talent is better than number 13 in the nation. The team was obviously off the charts good in 2019. Actually, a semblance of those players still return, but the key cogs and the stars are gone, long gone. Is Ed Orgeron a top-flight coach, or did he just land in a great position in 2019? LSU, of course, multi-talented again, number 13. They could finish 7-5 and outside the top be well after the bowl game. Let's say 8-5, 7-6, outside the top 25 postseason. But they could rank much higher, and actually, I would have no surprise if they finished ahead of Texas A&M. All right, looking at the rest of it, of course, there's an issue in a strategy of sorts when you start to factor in the Group of 5. There's no question the Group of 5 schedules are nowhere close to the Power 5 schedules. Are the teams as good? Generally, not even close, but there are outliers. Boise State down through the years, Cincinnati recently, Memphis at times, Houston at times, UCF, of course, 2017, 18, 19. So there are outliers. We saw Coastal Carolina beat BYU last year, and of course, finish with just one loss. Some respect given again to Louisiana Lafayette at 23, Coastal Carolina at 24. Oklahoma State reps the Big 12 at 22, along with Texas at 19. You got to wonder about these teams. I'm going to throw out some traditional powers, but also some teams that may be able to crack this top 25. This is my estimation. I would love to see somebody run the numbers on this. I'm guessing about an average of 7 teams out of the top 25 preseason do not finish in the top 25. So take about 7 of these teams. I have run the numbers over a course of a few years, but all time I've not seen the numbers. And I came to the conclusion about 7 teams will not finish in the top 25. So just disappear 7 of those teams, and most likely they're going to be in the bottom 10 to 12 spots of the rankings, and they're gone. Go to any preseason top 25, and it's a fun exercise to go through if you're a nerd like me. Go through it and see who's the highest ranked team in the preseason, then finished unranked. You may be surprised. Michigan absent. Keep in mind that despite the 2-4 finish last season, half a season, it was deplorable, but still only 6 games, that Michigan has finished ranked 4 of Jim Harbaugh's 5 previous seasons, and the one unranked team was 8-5 and right on the fringe of being ranked. So Michigan typically does finish ranked, and they were preseason number 15 last season. Nebraska was last ranked in the preseason. Might be surprising to you. In 2019, at number 24, despite the deplorable 2018 season, Scott Frost's team was given some credit, and of course they disappointed. The last time, this is pretty shocking, because this is not a top 10, it's a top 25. The last time Nebraska finished ranked in the coaches poll was 2013. Now, they did have some 9-4 teams that could have been ranked since then. Florida State last finished ranked in 2016 at number 8. They were last in the preseason top 25 in the coaches poll in 2018 at number 19. Tennessee last finished ranked in 2016. Tennessee was ranked by the AP preseason last season in what turned out to be Jeremy Pruitt's finale at number 25, but not ranked in the coaches poll last season. Auburn just finished a 6-5 season that saw Gus Malzahn's dismissal. Auburn finished at number 14 the previous season in 2019, and Auburn is typically in the preseason top 25 80 to 90% of the time. Not so this year. TCU last finished ranked in 2017. We'll see if TCU can finish in the top 25, and I think they're, of course, absent from this poll, so the coaches believe that voted here that TCU not as good as Texas and Oklahoma State. That remains to be seen. TCU looks good to me. We will see where we rate them here at the Voice of College Football. Utah. Okay, throw out last year. They only played 4 or 5 games in the Pac-12. Utah, number 20 in the preseason rankings last season. Utah, of course, finished well within the rankings the previous 2 seasons in 2018 and 19, advancing all the way to the Pac-12 championship game. Look out for Utah. Also, UCF, not ranked here. Preseason number 21 last year, finished ranked 2017, 18, and 19. The bowl loss and crushing bowl loss last season, of course, knocked them out of the final rankings. Look out for UCF. Northwestern, this is across the board the most undervalued team year after year after year after year after year. Not that they didn't go 3-9 a couple years ago, had a 5-7 a few years before that, but Northwestern, keep this in mind, they're coming off a top 10 finish, 7-2. Of course, they were not ranked in the preseason. They've only been ranked preseason once since 2001. They have finished ranked 5 times, but they were only ranked in the preseason once at number 22. And they finished well above number 22 during all those seasons and more. So Northwestern, and you got to wonder about the situation concerning Arizona State. A lot of talk pre-scandal, pre-recruiting scandal about Arizona State being a dark horse, and I wouldn't even consider them that in the Pac-12 South to advance to the championship game. And a lot of early prognostications had Arizona State in the top 25, if not the top 15. Arizona State absent from the top 25, and we see Lane Kiffin's Ole Miss Rebels sneaking in at the 25th spot. My thoughts about the Coaches Poll release top 25. Would love to get your comments down below right here at the Voice of College Football. Of course, check out our live streams every day, 6 of them: Nebraska, Ohio State, Florida State, Miami, Oklahoma. Also, our call-in shows throughout the week. So lock it in right here at the Voice of College Football.